you.
She noted that Tanzania had never questioned how other nations handled similar episodes. The European Parliament last week called for suspension of EU funds for Tanzania, citing the election-related violence. President SAMIA said even the funds foreign parties claim to be providing are far less than before.
Niwaulize, kwao hayatokei? Kwao hayatokei?
On 19 November 2025, I attended a commemoration for the victims of election-related violence in Tanzania, and I rise today to stand in solidarity with the Tanzanian Australian community. There were horrendous actions undertaken by the security forces in Tanzania against those who were protesting against unfair elections in Tanzania. At the commemoration, I received a letter from the Tanzanian Association of Queensland. It called for a number of things. First, that we raise our voices, Acting Deputy President, to address the ongoing issues and ensure that people can demonstrate safely in Tanzania, and call upon the Australian Government to use all of its forums, access to all multinational forums, to advocate in that regard. Secondly, it called upon the Australian Government to exercise heightened caution when providing financial assistance to Tanzanian state institutions, especially given the actions of their security forces. I've written in those terms to the Honourable Senator Penny Wong, our Minister for Foreign Affairs, and I trust that Senator Wong, as she always does, will carefully consider the requests from our Tanzanian community, and I stand in solidarity with our wonderful Tanzanian Australian community.
American senators have called out the Tanzanian government over its heavy-handed response to post-election protests, which led to unprecedented level of violence. The senators, who belong to the influential Foreign Relations Committee, say that President Samia Suluhu Hassan has lost an opportunity to reform Tanzania, calling the elections less than credible. Ayub Abdikadir reports on how the polls have tarnished Tanzania's once revered reputation.
The U.S. government has given the Tanzanian president 24 hours to release a Tanzanian citizen who was arrested for dancing to music.
Fly right now, and what do you tell people who are gearing up?
I'd like to see one-day voting. I'd like to see not 65 days of voting from all over the place. No, I'd like to clean up the elections. The border, we've done a great job. We have a great, strong border now, but I'd like to see new rules on immigration that can be fair and good, you know, but rules that you'll never do.
Mr. President, given these modifications that are being made to air travel, the other disruptions with the government shutdown, do you think it's time for Republicans in Congress to change their negotiating position at all?
In what way?
To start making concessions to Democrats?
Well, I think it's time for them to end the filibuster and just put everybody back to work. Vote in voter ID, vote in no mail-in voting except for military, faraway military, and people that are very sick.
The United Nations Rights Office says it's alarmed by the deaths and injuries that have occurred in the ongoing election-related protests in Tanzania. They began on Wednesday as voting took place, with demonstrators angry at the exclusion of the two main challengers to President Samia Suluhu Hassan.
On the security forces to refrain from using unnecessary or disproportionate force, including lethal weapons against protesters, and to make every effort to de-escalate tensions. Protesters should demonstrate peacefully.
The main opposition party on Friday said that about 700 people were killed in protests across the country, which the government has referred to as isolated incidents.
We urge the authorities to fully uphold Tanzania's obligations under international human rights law. They must promptly reinstate access to the internet and facilitate citizens' full enjoyment of the rights to freedom of expression, association, and peaceful assembly. Curtailment of communication will only further undermine public trust in the electoral process.
The UN also said that people who've been arbitrarily detained must be released immediately and unconditionally. An overnight curfew has been in place in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam since Wednesday after government offices and other buildings were set on fire. Internet access has also been disrupted since then.
Indeed, it's a bad day to Samia, always, because she never expected that things will get to this point. She never expected this. And those people from Tanzania who have been always coming out to support their president for all that she has come out to do. Now, you will come to realize that this was try to mean, because sometimes it's better for you to think something while it's happening, and whenever you see people coming out and everyone is reacting, responding against your thinking, then you have to know that this is something which is serious. We've seen how the European Union banned and sanctioned the country of Tanzania. They warned the president to free all the detained protesters and the chief opposition leader. But SAMIA came out to respond to them furiously, asking them, who are you? Have you ever saw us coming to interfere with your problems? You have your own problems. So you better stay away from Tanzania, because I am the president. And there are some section of Tanzanians who celebrated, talking about the sovereignty, that Tanzania is a sovereign country. So the people from West or Europe should leave them. We know, and we are all fighting for this sovereignty. But again, in which way? Because we cannot call ourselves sovereign when we are still unsafe in our own countries. Today, something different has happened. And now Donald Trump, the American president, has banned Tanzania not to access America. And according to SAMIA and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they came out clearly to say that they're no longer interested with the people from West, because all that they have been doing to that country, it's better they stop, because they are not interested. And the money that they have been funding them, even if it stopped, then they have no problem.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan took on foreign nations, criticizing them for interfering with Tanzania's internal affairs, as seemingly angry Samia rebuking the continued international scrutiny over the deadly election violence.
Hawana hata aibu. Nje huko wanakaa, Tanzania ifanye moja, ifanye mbili, ifanye tatu, halafu ndio itakuwa hivi. Who are you?
But we know that Europe has been funding the country of Tanzania over 50 years. They have been doing with their business. And this relationship has been there for so long. We are all fighting against the imperialists. But sometimes we are not just fighting that they don't have to access Africa, or we don't have to access, but we are fighting for them for partnership. We are trying to push for the partnership, but not for the exploitation. When they are ready to partner in business way, in trade, in making each and every side to benefit, then that is what we are trying to ask, but not other way around. The way that they come like they're still colonizing. But when it is true that you cannot live independently, you must have some people to associate with. So today, Tanzania has destroyed their relationship with many countries here in Africa, because today, what they try to show is the bad example. Because at the first, Tanzania was the best example in terms of governance. They had peace. They were well living before this woman came in as a president, who was ready to destroy the entire continent just to secure her position. Today, the people of Tanzania they are silent, because they are silent not because they are okay with all that's happening, but because of fear. Because they have no right to come out and express their feelings, to speak all that they feel. Because when you come out to do this, you are endangering your life. But when you see them responding to the comment section, you just feel these people are suffering. They're feeling it is hard for them. They can't hold it. But now, when in public, they are okay. And this is giving their president much power to feel like he's doing the right things. But back on it, she just know that all that is doing, she's not doing what is supposed to be done. The country losing thousands of people in just a week, it's not a joke. This is more than genocide. So the words of the once a politician in Kenya, George Saitoti, said that Africans are tired. It is better for the African leaders sometimes to put their personal interest aside and try to think of the interest of the country and their people.
There come a time when the nation is more important than an individual. Taabu ya nchi hii si wananchi wa kawaida. Taabu ya nchi yetu, mimi ninavyoangalia, ni sisi viongozi wa siasa.
Because all these leaders, they forget one thing, that all that they are doing is for the people. For them to be where they are today and being respected as leaders, it's because of their people. It's because of their favor that they got to hold this position and represent other people. Because we cannot all come to represent our country. That's why we send some people to go and represent us. Once you are being elected as a leader, people have been trusted you. People have put their hope in you. That's why they have sent you to that position, so that you can go and fight their problem, represent them where they cannot go, speak their voices, listen to their grievances, try to solve their problems. But at the same time, today things are happening in different way, whereby now the politicians need to be seen as the boss, as the people who are the final say. This is not how it is. The citizens are the boss to the politicians, because politicians were only meant to serve their people. They are the servants, because the people are the one who sent them there. They are the one who are contributing to build the country and economy for the salaries and every income to the politicians. So we have many people who have been always doing business, trade with the foreign countries, not only the country, but the personal people who do their businesses between these countries. So because I believe that we have many and thousands of Tanzanians in America today who are making their living there, who are making because of the best partnership. But today, if the American president can come out to say that Tanzanians are banned to access this country, this means that even those people who are already living in America, they will have to be deported back to their country. And this will be an effect to some people. If you are not in this position, we cannot understand this. But the people who are concerned are the ones who will feel this. The same as the people who are coming out today still to congratulate or to protect and defend their president, SAMIA, are the people who have not been affected by all that's happening to that country. But if they would have been affected, then they couldn't have that strength to come and speak or support all the government is doing. So at this time, I think the people of Tanzania, this has not to be the end of the war, but it has to be the beginning of the journey. Because first of all, Tanzania is being ruled by CCM, the party that fought for independence since 1960s up to this day, is the one that is still ruling this country. And as how it is believed, this party is not leaving this country soon until the people works on it, until the people fight for it. Because fighting for this party, it's fighting for the change of the country. They will have to fight for the new constitution. They will have to fight for the reform in electoral board. They will have to fight for a lot, for them to have the sovereignty that they're speaking about, to have the power. Because today the power still belongs to the government and the president. That's why no one is allowed to go and challenge the victory or to challenge the ruling government. So we saw people from Europe coming to respond to these matters, while we are having our own African Union silent. We are having our own SADC silent. But the people, the common people, ordinary people are the ones who are coming out to engage with these matters. And now, people from Europe, EU Parliament, 1,000 miles away from Africa, have come to engage in these matters, while our own AU is there. So this is just a nightmare to the country of Tanzania. And I think SAMIA never expected things to get where it is today, because it's like the beginning of everything. Now, if she feel like she will use the security enforcement of the country to control the country, the time will come when everything will come out, when the truth will be out and will be pushing much. This reminds me of a clip of South African Pan-Africans who was hanged to death because of challenging the ruling government by then, which was under the colonial. She came out without fear. She challenged the judge that you are executing me, but I'm just one of the many. The youth will wake up. They will fight. It will come to the time all these governments, all this enforcement, they will not be able to stop the truth from coming out. And this is what is happening in Africa today. All these youth that are losing their life today, it will come a time the government will bow before the youths. It will come a time nobody will stand to stop the youth from getting what they are fighting for today. So all these deaths that we have experienced will never go in vain, because it was fighting for the justice. They were fighting for the justice. They were fighting for the freedom. They were fighting for the change. But instead of the government listening or giving them what they are asking, they left them. They executed them. They jailed them. Today we have many who have lost their life in Africa, in the entire continent of Africa, not because they committed crime, but because they came out to ask for their rights, to demand justice. Today in the country of Tanzania, we have still many people who are still worrying, who are still worried. They are still mourning their people. We have many today who don't know even the bodies of their loved ones, where they are. But the government is going on with their duties. The president is still executing and doing his duties as normal, because she feels like all is well, because she has secured her position and she has got what she was fighting for. It's okay for her, but things has not ended there. But this is just the beginning. And as the Africans, I always say that Tanzanian matters is my business. It is your business. Nigerian matters, it is our business. That's why we'll never stop talking about it. That's why we'll never stop pushing it until justice is found, until the change is out. That's when we will relax and say that it has been done. Tell me what you have in the comment section, because we are expecting a lot to come. Consider subscribing, sharing, and let's continue connecting to the next episode. And may we bless you wherever you're watching from.